Very few cities in the world carry the weight of the name Baghdad. This is not just the story of a city, but of humanity's shared memory. Between the great rivers, Tigris River and Euphrates River, in the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, history has been holding its breath for thousands of years. This is a land where mathematicians discovered zero, poets measured the universe in verses, and physicians challenged death itself. But it is also a land where rulers poisoned one another, armies battered at the gates, and rivers ran dark with ink and blood. Baghdad was born, it shined, it burned, and it rose again. In this journey, we did something special. Using advanced AI techniques, we transformed ancient engravings and paintings into vivid, lifelike scenes. So you won't just hear history, you will witness it in its closest form. Now, close your eyes and let yourself drift back to the year 762 AD. The Abbasid Caliph Al-Mansur stood between the two rivers and declared, "This is the city I will build." And so Madinat al-Salam, the city of peace, was etched into history. Al-Mansur designed the city as a perfect circle, a form that symbolized both ultimate defense and cosmic harmony. Architects, craftsmen, and workers from across the known world flocked to Baghdad. In just 4 years, with the labor of nearly 100,000 workers, the most meticulously planned city the world had ever seen rose from the earth. At its center stood the Caliph's palace, crowned by a great green dome reaching toward the sky. Surrounding it were bustling markets, madrasas, libraries, and bathhouses. Baghdad became not just a capital, but the heart of a civilization. By the late 8th century, Baghdad's population exceeded 1 million, making it the largest city on earth. From China to Al-Andalus, from India to Africa, merchants, scholars, and travelers gathered here. Under the reign of Harun al-Rashid, Baghdad reached the peak of its golden age. This was the era of the 1001 Nights, where palace walls echoed with poetry and library shelves overflowed with knowledge. Then came the great translation movement. Works from Greek, Persian, Indian, and Syriac traditions were translated into Arabic, allowing ancient knowledge to be reborn through Islamic civilization. At the legendary House of Wisdom, the world's first great research center, giants of intellect reshaped human understanding. Al-Khwarizmi developed algebra. Al-Kindi bridged philosophy and music. Ibn Sina laid the foundations of modern medicine. Baghdad was no longer just a city, it was the brain of humanity. But history is cruel. The highest peaks often precede the deepest sukut. By the 10th century, the Abbasid Caliphate began to rot from within. Real power slipped from the caliphs to the Buyid dynasty and later the Seljuk Empire. Intrigue consumed the palace and assassinations became as common as morning prayer. And then, from the east, a storm. The year 1258 became the apocalypse of Baghdad. Led by Hulagu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, the Mongol army arrived with overwhelming force. Caliph Al-Mustasim refused to surrender, perhaps unable to foresee the end. After a 40-day siege, the walls fell. What followed became one of the darkest chapters in human history. The House of Wisdom was destroyed. Its books were thrown into the Tigris. Legend says the river ran black with ink for days. Hundreds of thousands were slaughtered. Centuries of accumulated knowledge and art were erased in a single week. Baghdad's golden age was buried beneath Mongol steel. And yet, Baghdad did not die. Over time, the city slowly began to breathe again. Even the descendants of the Mongols eventually embraced Islam, absorbed by the spirit of these lands. In the 16th century, Suleiman the Magnificent captured Baghdad, bringing it under the Ottoman Empire. For over 2 centuries, the city became a battleground between the Ottomans and the Safavid Empire, each conflict leaving deep scars. By the 19th century, the winds of modernization began to blow. Ottoman reforms slowly reshaped Baghdad, but beneath its soil, something even more transformative was emerging: oil. After World War I, British forces occupied the city and drew artificial borders across the region. In 1921, the Kingdom of Iraq was established, and Baghdad once again became a capital. But the 20th century did not bring peace. The 1958 Iraqi Revolution ended the monarchy. The rise of the Ba'ath Party and the rule of Saddam Hussein transformed Baghdad into a city of fear rather than freedom. The Gulf War and the 2003 Iraq War dragged Baghdad through cycles of destruction once more. Even in modern times, Baghdad has bled, wept, and fallen. But after every sukut, like the unstoppable flow of the Tigris, the city rises again. Today, Baghdad is a city with fresh wounds, but an unbroken soul. Its streets still carry thousands of years of memory. The call to prayer rising from its minarets still echoes the dream of that city of peace imagined by Al-Mansur. Because Baghdad is not just a city, it is humanity's greatest dream, its deepest pain, and its most stubborn hope. See you in the past.